What's up, YouTube? The Random Outdoorsman is back, and today you're going to learn how to make fire using flint and steel. First off, you're going to need your piece of flint or quartz, a piece of high carbon steel, like I have here, so some scrap high carbon steel, and some char cloth, because the sparks produced when you strike the steel on the piece of flint are not very hot. These sparks will not catch things like ferro rod will. So you can't just sit there in front of your feather sticks and just be like, oh yeah, these are going to catch on fire. Because guess what? They're not. So you need char cloth. What char cloth is, if you watch the tutorial video on how to make it, it is basically cloth, 100% cotton cloth burned in a low oxygen environment, and it takes a spark very well and starts to smolder like an ember. So there's two techniques to strike this with. The first one is hitting it, but you don't want to do a glancing blow. You want to do more of a striking hit. And then the second way is you can drag the edge of the metal across the piece of flint, like this. You see that there, those sparks. So what this method does is it makes it a little bit more accurate, but you don't get the sparks as well as if you hit the rock like this. And what you need to keep in mind is the sparks are actually coming off of the metal, not the rock. The rock is scraping off tiny pieces of metal, which combust when they react with air. So you're going to take your piece of char cloth, hold it here above your sharp edge, and then you're going to strike in kind of a sliding motion the sharp edge here, and that's going to throw sparks up and hopefully hit off your char cloth. And when one of those sparks finally hits off the char cloth, like that one right there, you'll see it starts to have a little bit of an ember. That ember will grow very quickly. So you're going to take something, your tinder, your bird's nest, but today I'm just going to use an unrolled cotton ball, and you'll wrap it around that. Blowing on it produces heat and ignites your tinder. All right. So for the second method, you're going to take your char cloth once more, kind of roll it up, put it next to your sharp edge here, and this time instead of striking, you're going to slide it aggressively. Now you have to push very firmly when you do this. So as you see, it is not lit yet. There was a spark. There we go. All right, so that worked. You see, though, it's a little bit hard to get sparks than it is with the striking motion. So you see, once you got that ember there, I'm going to roll it up in my cotton ball again and blow on it. There we go. Cotton ball's on fire. So a couple tips. When I was learning how to strike the piece of steel on the flint rock, I was having a hard time. I wasn't getting any sparks, so I'd get one or two, and that was it. I was like, why can't I do this? Well, one thing that helps is to hit the rock more firmly. If you're kind of just doing this, you might not get any sparks, and it's just kind of glancing off there. You want to really, it's more of a firm scrape when you hit it, not a kind of a glance. It's a scrape. So you see how that sent sparks, but that didn't. So a firm scrape. And then when you're doing, if you do the dragging technique, you need to find a sharp edge for that. So like this sharp edge there, you see all those sparks that flew off of there. The sharper the edge, the better. So if you were to be able to break your flint into flat pieces, that would work very well. But it's very hard to do with a small piece of flint. Like I have a small one right here. And it's very hard to hold on to that and get a spark off of it. It just kind of likes to slip off. So piece you can really grab onto, that really helps. Like I said, the sharper the edge, the better the sparks come off of there, as you see, versus this edge, which I've kind of worn on a little bit. This sharp edge does much better. So that's all for today's video. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment below, tell us what you want to see next, and click on this link up here if you want to see how to make the char cloth, just in case you forgot about that one. And happy trails.